Today's nuclear medicine snack is an introduction to nuclear medicine in general. And we look at the question, why? Why would we use radioactivity for medicine? Nuclear medicine falls into the personalized medicine group of techniques where we have a patient population and not like the traditional sense, we would assume they are all homogeneous, but we realize that they are heterogeneous and they have different characteristics, and we explore all of those. You can see there is many areas of research or clinical techniques that take into account the differences of people. We can look at metabolomics, transcriptomics, genetics and epigenetics, proteomics and microbiomics. But radiomics, that is nuclear medicine, is a quite easy approach and a lot more easy, user-friendly in the clinic. So you have a cluster of patients, you image them with radioactive vectors, you see what's going on in their body, how they differ, and then you can group them in groups, and that would yield different therapies in the end. Especially for cancer, this is great because you can see if it's a aggressive cancer or if it's a cancer expressing a certain receptor. You can then treat the patient with radiation therapy or chemotherapy, see how they progress, again with the nuclear medicine scan, or you can even give them radioactive medicine themselves or the biologics. So you get more information about the patients through nuclear medicine. There is a lot of people involved in nuclear medicine, and it's truly a multidisciplinary approach, which is why I like it so much. There is nuclear medicine physicians that gives the final feedback to the clinic, physicists, which helps us to understand the physical principles of the radionuclides and how the equipment works, and also looking at new applications of radionuclides. You have your nursing staff, which are highly trained to administer radioactive compounds and are well aware of all the side effects and how to manage the patients in this unique environment. I have to also mention that a patient in the nuclear medicine department is uniquely stressed because we are all a little afraid of nuclear and radioactivity, so the nursing staff helps with the emotional side of things as well. You have your radiopharmacist in the pharmacy working with radioactive compounds, compounding them, looking at the quality, maybe even contributing to research. You have your technologist that is in essence also nursing the patients and looking after their well-being, ensuring that the scanners are high quality, all the scans are timed perfectly, and the scans that the doctors look at in the end is useful. Then you have the industry, the hospital, radiopharmacy, all the other support staff, allied scientists who also can contribute new ideas in the field. You have your radiobiologist that looks after the concepts of the effect of radioactivity on the patient and the cancer cells. And you have chemists as well contributing to new molecules. In essence, this is just the start. Engineers, IT, I can go on. Nearly everybody can be involved in nuclear medicine with a unique approach. What is the difference between nuclear imaging and conventional imaging? Here you can see on the left is a nuclear medicine image where the radioactivity actually contributes and is transposed over the X-ray to show you where you on the right didn't see anything, you saw maybe some malformation. You can see on the left there is a lot of metabolic activity going on. So nuclear imaging provides you with functional and metabolic information about what processes is going on in the body, and we can select certain processes and highlight them in the patient, whereas conventional imaging only gives you anatomical information of structures that are malformed. So both of them are used together. We use hybrid imaging so that you have the best of both worlds. For nuclear medicine, we use alpha, beta, gamma, and neutron for the production of radiopharmaceuticals. So alpha emitters is a very high energy, very short distance that it travels, and you can block it by paper. So it's not dangerous on the outside, but once it's ingested, it is very high energy activity, and it is very cytotoxic. Beta minus emitters, they travel a little bit further than alpha emitters and is definitely not blocked by paper, but you can block them with aluminium. So they are still very blockable, if I can say it that way. And they are quite cytotoxic also, so we still use them for therapy. Gamma rays we don't use for therapy, and we use it for imaging, and you can see it travels quite fast. It travels through everything except lead. And this is also very useful because it will travel through the patient to the camera, so we use it for imaging purposes. Here is just a picture of how we image certain metabolistic qualities in the patient. In this case, areas of high bone turnover. We do it with gamma rays, and here you can see the gamma rays highlights the presence of bone cancer in the patient. Then we treat patients. This is a picture I will use often because it's one of the coolest things in nuclear medicine at the moment. It's very hot. Actinium-225 PSMA. You can see that we treat this patient then with that high energy radioactivity, and by the 4th cycle you can see there is a definite reduction in the tumor load of the patient. So this is very exciting stuff. Nuclear medicine has research, and we are one of the fields where I think there is a fast movement from the problem to clinical translation, and it's a group effort to get there as quick as possible. We are working with microdoses, so our radiopharmaceuticals in essence is not toxic. Nuclear medicine is actually quite mild from both a therapy and a diagnostic aspect. This is just one of the scans I've done for animal scans to show you. We use animals to test the compounds before we go into humans, and I always think this is beautiful, and it just highlights how intricate nature is. So you have your CT scan, CAT scan, which is like a bunch of X-rays, 3-dimensional. Then you have your radioactivity, and then we transpose them on one another to localize where the radioactivity is. So I think you've gathered that nuclear medicine is quite broad, so it can have therapeutic aspects, and then it can have diagnostic aspects. So it's actually 2 fields in nuclear medicine where you focus on diagnostics to know more about the patient, but you can also give them therapy. Radiopharmacy, where I find myself, is involved in research as well as the making of current radiopharmaceuticals of good quality, and ensuring that we know what we are imaging and that we can trust our data. Physics is very important for us because all of the principles of radioactivity is described by physics, and we use all of these principles during our day-to-day. The way the camera works, the way your radioactivity decays, the information that you can get from that. So we go from injecting radioactivity to actually producing a useful image, and all of these are governed by the principles of physics. Here is just an example of a workflow in the hospital to show you how complicated this is. So your patient will arrive, you will have your physicist checking the equipment, your radiopharmacist will make the radiopharmaceuticals with a technician, you will do the quality control, you have to monitor your environment, the patient gets consulted by the nurses, they must have specific preparation, they are scanned, and then the doctor has to check them up, and you have a finalized report. And this happens in a day. All of the go, no-go decisions in between, where the patient scan can be aborted due to not good preparation or the quality control. So it is actually quite an extensive process where everybody has to take part and do their work well. We should not forget the nuclear industry when we have these discussions, because they are our source of raw materials, radionuclides, new scanners, new protective gear. It is a perfect marriage between academia, the clinic, as well as the industry. We all are focused on the peaceful use of nuclear medicine and nuclear technology, harnessing what could be a terrible thing to make the lives of people so much better. We serve all the areas of medicine. I cannot think of one single area of medicine that we are not helping with. Infection, cardiovascular, post-operative monitoring, oncology, we do everything. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a like or dislike if you didn't like what I was saying today. Also comment down below of what you think I could do better and also topics that you want to hear more about. I would like to engage with you, so let me know what you think. And I want to thank BioRender for using their program that helps me do these illustrations.